Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Mary D Show. My name is Mary D. Welch, and I'm your host of the Mary D Show. Thank you for coming in this afternoon. Now, do I have to say it? I'm going to say it anyway. It is a beautiful Monday. Every Monday, I say that because every Monday it is. I like to thank you, our live viewers, and thank you, our replay viewers. You just have no idea what it does to see all of you when you come into the show. Or really, a lot of times I don't know till the end who's watching the show, but just knowing that you're there, it touches my heart. I like to also thank our sponsors for today's show. Today we have the Idea Club with President Dumas Martin Jr. And that is if you're looking to get a 501c3, if you would like to get a C Corp, S Corp, or an LLC, you want to contact Dumas Martin Jr. of the Idea Club. Do you take the time to do that? He is fabulous when it comes to intellectual property, and my husband and I are definitely we're clients of his, and that's where you want to go. Another sponsor for today's show is First Fridays Travel. If you are traveling, whether you're going on a cruise, I know with everything with COVID, it's kind of up in the air, but you know what, ladies and gentlemen, people still traveling. They're still going on cruises. They're still flying all over the world. It never really stopped. It may have slowed down, but it never really stopped. So if you are traveling, you can go to First Fridays Travel. You can book your travel right there on the internet, just like you would any other search engine, just like Expedia or Travelocity or any of the big boys. You can still book your travel there, First Fridays Travel. Another one of our sponsors is the Henderson Real Estate Team. The Henderson Real Estate Team. If you're looking to purchase a home or sell a home, contact the Henderson Real Estate Team. They'll be more than happy to help you with that. And like I say, last but not least, for those of you that are interested in writing your first book, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot stress to you, you all have books in you. There is not one person here that doesn't have a book. You may say, well, no, I don't know where to start. First Book Academy, that's where you start. First Book Academy, there's workshops. You can learn how to write your book. They even help you with editing if you need an editor. Everything from, as they say, what do they call, from soup to nuts of books. That's what First Book Academy. Go to firstbookacademy.com and go and find out all you need to find out on writing and publishing a book. Now, I sent out a text. Some of you may have seen that. And it said about save your home from probate. I'm going to take a second really quickly before I introduce our very special guest today. And her name is Shor Denny. But I want to share this with you because when the text message went out, when I tell you there was like a rush of people wanting to find out more information about the book. And many bought the book. I'm going to show it to you. Some of you seen it. It's this book, Save Your Home from Probate. There we go. Save Your Home from Probate. Now, you may say, well, that book looks kind of thick. Well, that's because there's 33 states and the District of Columbia in this book. There's a California version for those of you that are in a large population of the Watch the Show is from California. Each state, I'm actually making it up right now, so each state will have its own book. But in the back of the book, for every state is examples of a will, examples of a medical directive, examples of a power of attorney, all in the book. What to do with your what happens to bank accounts, what happens to cars and vehicles, all of that's in the back of the book, and how you can do this, examples of it. But if you want the California only edition, and I can tell you they're priced very reasonable. They really are. The big one, which has all 34 states, still reasonable. Remember, you may not need 34 states. If you just need your state, all the 34 states will be up in a PDF form in the next 2 weeks, and they'll be available for a PDF. That's electronically. I don't want to go over the prices, but that's under $20. Let me say that. You can get that for less than $20. It'll be up in the next 2 weeks. So I'll be able to tell you about that. But this one right here is on Amazon as we speak, and so is the California edition. Now, let me tell you about this special guest that's with us today. I'm going to read you some of her bio because when I tell you, it's so interesting. I've known Shor, oh my goodness, probably I'm gonna say at least 5 or 6 years. But there, I only knew this little bit about her. I didn't really know all the things that she's been involved in, but she's gonna share some of that with you. But I'm gonna read some of her bio to you. Shor Denny is the founder and CEO of Community Now, a California-based nonprofit focused on providing mental wellness programming to our youth. Using her master's in mental health and an emphasis in prevention from Grand Canyon University, Shore educates the community on prevention and wellness strategies that can improve the lives of everyone in the community at work, school, and in their personal lives. She knows from her own experience that mental stressors can disrupt normal development during our youth, which may lead to negative coping skills and risky behaviors throughout our lives. With an advanced childhood experience called ACE score of 9, Shore's experiences help her to see the vital importance of early social and emotional education for our youth, the desperate need of kindness in our community, and how much better each person's life would be if mental wellness strategies like kindness and positive coping skills were a part of our lives. Now, I'll be honest, ladies and gentlemen, this is only part of Shore's bio, but I can tell you this. I'm going to go on down to the last section, but we're going to talk about the other part, just so you know. Shore knows. Let me see. Shore knows from life experiences that trauma from an early age can disrupt our development and change our perception. That is why she educates others on the positive power of trauma informed practices and how they can change your life for the better. Ladies, gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you not only a guest on the show, but a friend of mine, and her name is Shor Denny. Shor,
Thank you,
welcome.
Mary. Wow, that was really
Welcome.
nice. Thank
Oh,
you. It's great
well,
to
I
be
can.
here.
We're glad to have you. I'm gonna. There's already comments coming in, Shor, so I'm gonna put that. One is Charles Radney says hello, hi Charles,
Hey.
and then this is a name you know. It's Kelly. Hi Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
Kelly. And her other comment, she says, hello, Marion Shore. Hi, Kelly. How are
It's good
you?
to see you.
So I'm going to
Definitely.
go on because, Shore, as you know, we talked briefly before the show came on. Why don't you share with our audience about you and some things you were sharing with me?
Well, uh, how I started, I think, is really one of the things that I'd like to share, and
Okay.
that is my journey. I started out as an accounting professional for over years, double digits. And then one day I had a nervous breakdown. I mean, my life was so stressful that I just could not handle it anymore. And my whole life changed. And in that life change, my career changed. You know, I couldn't go to work. I was mentally in a severe state of anxiety.
Mm,
My doctors, I was losing space, I was losing time, I was in a really bad way. But during that, and initially, I was afraid, like, what happened? You know, I felt weak. You know, all those stereotypes and the
mhm,
things that they say about someone with mental illness.
right.
Um, but I felt I'm not weak. You know, what happened? And
Mhm,
so I went on a journey, and that journey was to understand mental health and what it means and what happened to me. And in doing that, I had started going to a school that my daughter went to. I moved, so we had to change schools. And I started working with the PTA. And in working with the PTA, it was so just wonderful to be at the elementary level. And I would do lunch with the principal once a month, right? And I look so forward to that. And I kind of just gained a relationship. But as I was working with my daughter, I saw these little kids walking to school, first graders, kindergartners, alone on major streets. And it kind of blew my
wow,
mind. I didn't focus in on school before this.
right.
So what I thought was that, you know, who's in charge of this and why are they letting our kids do this? And I ended up starting a Safe Routes to School program in Moreno Valley. I partnered with the city and I partnered with the school district. And for 9 years, I worked with the school district with youth programming, safety. I partnered with the the city, and brought in millions into the city for, safety, street lights, crosswalks, different things like that. I sat on the Traffic Safety Commission for
Wow.
5 years,
Hmm.
um, as co-chair. And what I saw was that that wasn't it, right? So we could teach positive coping skills. What we saw is, okay, so picture a mom told her kid, look, tomorrow I have a meeting. So I want
Right.
you to get up and get ready because I
Hmm.
need to be to work early. So that morning, the kid does not get up, right? The mom's like, didn't I tell you to get up, right? Oh my God. So they're like, Becky, I told you to blip, blip, that you needed to blip, blip, and now get in the car, right? So now there's just all this aggression, and the child's in the car. The parent turns 2 street lanes into 4, stops in the middle of the street, kicks the kid out in the middle of traffic, and the kid's walking through traffic to get to the school. This is
Oh
an
my God.
everyday affair. But what we saw was that you can't, there's so many lights and stop signs and crosswalks that you can put up. It was the behavior of the people that was the issue. So I went back to
Wow.
school and I worked on my master. And what I focused on was behavior. Because you could see if you took a child, if you said the car was blue and put the kid in a blue t-shirt, the car was red and car was white, and put the kids in corresponding t-shirts, the behavior of that car was the behavior that came onto the campus. So we started a crosswalk program with the youth, and we had music playing and welcome, right? And we
Uh-huh.
turned the first period of elementary into an exciting fun time to bring down the
Wow.
stress, to transition them, right? Because when the kid is having a hard time and they're going through that morning thing, when they get to the campus, usually the principal says, when your foot hits the campus, you need to be ready for school,
Right,
right?
right,
But
right,
they're not in the morning, right? So this was a transition. So they did anti-bullying things, they did campus-wide programming for coping skills and
right.
positive thinking. And so we did that for 9 years, and it was very
Wow.
effective. But again, what we saw was that you can teach the kids the skills, but as soon as they went onto the school campus, the noon duty got them, right? The teacher, or maybe it was that principal who didn't have the correct skills and was impacting these youth, or they went home to the family, but it doesn't have to just be the family.
Oh my
They
goodness.
were dealing with other um,
Mhm.
negative coping skills, right? So I went back to school, and what I learned was that um, several things, that there are adverse childhood experiences, and these things play a big part in our mental well-being as a youth and
Right,
as an adult, because when we become adults, the main thing that I hear from people is, well, I grew up. Yes, you grew up, but you grew up with those bad coping skills, you grew up with
mhm.
those scars, and you grew up with that trauma. So yeah,
Oh,
you grew up, but it didn't go away. What are you doing to help yourself cope, instead of every day going and saying, oh, I need a glass of wine? Maybe there's a reason you need that glass of wine, and we need to talk about that reason, right? um,
wow.
Doing self assessments is something that I learned was something,
Uh-huh.
because when I lost my mental health, I
Mhm.
didn't know what to do, and I had to go to somebody to try to get it back. But see, we have problems going to therapists, and people don't realize that it's just like a doctor. You need to pair well. You
Right,
don't just go to someone that's going to get into your head and you're not vibing, or it does not work because they
right.
harmed you. You can get just as harmed in a therapy session as you can be healed. So,
I'm listening to you. I'm just amazed. And I mean to interrupt you, but when you said that about yes, you are an adult, but those traumas, I don't think people know that they've been traumatized. I think that's what it is. They don't. There's no. There's not. It's not like, okay. Let me just use. I'm gonna use the analogy of homelessness. Homelessness, you can put your hand, you can touch and feel. That's something that's right there, and you can see it. Whereas if you're traumatized, I don't think you have been. And that could be if you're in a fight. When I was in high school, that was people would fight, not all the time, but enough that that's a trauma. If people fight, if people like you said, disagree, argue, all these things, but I never put them in the sense of being traumatized. I never thought of it like that, but that's what I'm sure that's what it was. But I didn't know that that's what it was. I will say that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You think of it as life, right? And everybody
Yep,
has a different life experience, and you just think it's
exactly.
normal because you don't know what normal is,
Exactly.
and that's why victims carry on the crime because they really don't realize that it's a crime. An example might I come from a very toxic family, but my family, um, my mom, we started drinking when I was very, very young. Really, they rubbed my gums with, wild turkey, and so I grew up brown grain, let's say. So my parents would have us make their drinks, right? I mean, I'm 5 years old, 4 years old, and I knew how to make bourbon and seven. That's my mom and dad's drink. So I'd be
Mm.
making their bourbon and sevens, but so that we wouldn't drink all of theirs, carrying it to them, they told us we could have our own highballs, right? So
Wow.
we used to make our drink and make it lighter and then make their drinks and make them strong. And we would all have drinks at the same
Oh
time.
my goodness.
Oh my God. Um,
Wow.
so growing up, I didn't think, and there was a time where I thought that it was okay to give your kids alcohol. Today people, might give their kids some beer to put them to sleep, or a
Uh-huh.
shot of this when they're, I'm not gonna include hot toddies, y'all, because I still agree with putting some booze in the hot tea when you're got the flu or something.
Mhm.
But just different
Yeah.
behaviors and patterns that go on because people in my family's kids did make their drinks after that, right? So that's something that continues that you don't see as being, you didn't think of it as being something negative.
Negative. You did
I've
because
been
it
drinking
was
my whole
it's a
life,
way of
and so
life.
yeah,
It's
they bred an alcoholic, right? you know
But but
um,
if you think about it, I don't think that's how they grew up. So they didn't
mhm,
think anything of it. So so that's that generational thing that you're talking
mhm,
about too, that goes from one generation to the other. But it wasn't alcohol. I remember though seeing my parents when they were little, when the kids were little, and I remember just seeing it wasn't alcohol, but it was what was it? It was my mother. If the baby would not go to sleep, it would be she would be in a room and the cigarette. I didn't understand that the smoke from a cigarette can put you to sleep, and
wow.
I'd be asking her. I said, "Mom, you don't smoke, you know?" So I didn't understand that was a way to calm the kid. That I didn't even understand what was going on, but
Yeah, yeah,
they did because probably they saw someone do it, and it wasn't. They weren't doing anything they felt was negative. I guarantee you, your parents
right.
did not think that was negative.
Right. And that's a part of the adverse childhood experiences, right? Most of us don't harm our kids knowingly. It's stuff
Mm-hmm.
that happens and things that we've seen happen. My father, they would put holes in walls fighting, right? My mom and dad fought. So you end up getting in bad relationships because you're
Mm-hmm.
used to a relationship with all that static and stress in
Mm-hmm.
it. So those kind of things are generational, that carry over behavior. So when you're talking about that, one generation needs to look and say, okay, maybe my behaviors aren't. Uh, Maybe I don't. I'm not defined by my behaviors. Let's say it that way. That I can change my behavior. So okay, I grew up. There are only 10 adverse experiences. I have 9, which means if
Wow.
you look at the adverse childhood experience study by Dr. Nadine Burke, who used to be San Diego's Surgeon General until recently, she just retired.
Mm-hmm.
You would see that there are direct correlations for physical and mental health based on your adverse childhood score. So
Wow.
if you have a score of 4 or more, you have like a 4 times more chance of having. Gosh, I'm going to kill these statistics. I apologize, but let me just say that it impacts everything. Lung disease is a product of, or correlates to childhood experiences because when you're young and you are stressed out, you start smoking at an early age. Well, your lungs at an older age and as you advance become diseased. So that adverse experience has a direct correlation to lung disease. Drinking, my family, we
Wow.
smoked too. I smoked, I used to hide my parents' cigarettes under the chair. And when they went away, we'd smoke their cigarettes. So drinking affects your liver. So if you start drinking at a young age, as your coping strategy, as you get older, your liver problems, kidney problems that
No.
are advanced. So when you're talking about direct correlation to mental health, my anxiety, right? And my anxiety is from my mom. As they say, it's generational. Um, I get the propensity for anxiety through my genes, but my environmental experience
Mm-hmm.
made me anxious. So I am an anxious person. I am diagnosed with um, anxiety and panic disorder. So I have a lot of things, and I do trainings on what does that mean? Because you
Right.
can say, "Oh, I've got this." So what it means is like I just got through about. And Mary, you might notice sometimes, and you don't know what's going on, that I lose focus. There are times, and I just came through like a week or two of it where I can't concentrate. Problem solving becomes a real problem
Mm-hmm.
for me. So there are times where work I have to stagger what I'm doing to fit my mental state because I do exceed. I am a I found an overachiever. I strive and I don't really
Mm-hmm.
slow down, I guess. But in all of that, I have to stay mentally well. So what I've learned was the prevention side of it. How do I maintain my
Mm.
wellness
Yes.
without using negative coping skills?
Right.
Right.
Yes.
So that
And,
way I can survive because
right.
with my nine, I should die 20 to 30 years before anyone else my age because of the experiences I had before the age of 18.
I'm listening to you going, do you happen, I don't know if you happen to have those, what they are. You wouldn't happen to have that
What,
handy. Or what those,
what they, yes, I
those,
do.
and let me, we have a comment too. Charles Radney, is that test for, is he just what I just said. She's going to pull it up, Charles, because you know what, I have a feeling we're going to find a whole lot of stuff
Yes,
that we
yes.
can, and I already know. I don't have to even have to take the test. I already know that I've been through so many things because but this was after 18 though. I was widowed at 35. And that's
Right.
trauma. That
Oh,
was
that's a whole nother set, right? Because it doesn't stop at 18.
no.
So then there's the trauma that goes on top of it after you're 18. But think of what you've had to deal with before that, and then the subsequent. Okay, so here are the questions.
Okay.
I can't share with you, but I can read them.
Oh, that's fine. I think if this one to kind of get an idea as to
Okay.
what they are. Thank you.
Did you feel that you did not have enough to eat, had to wear dirty clothes, or had no one to protect or take care of you? Is number one. And keep track because this is the count, right? There are 10.
Okay.
Did you lose a parent through divorce, abandonment, death, or any other reason? Did you live with anyone who was depressed, mentally ill, or attempted suicide?
Ooh.
Did you live with anyone who had a problem with drinking or using drugs, including prescription drugs?
Hmm.
Did your parents or adults in your home ever hit, punch, beat, or threaten to harm you? Or, oh no, each other.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say if you get in the
No,
they were
that's going to
called
be one, too.
okay.
That's one, too. But this one is each other,
Okay.
like your parents fighting. Did you live with anyone who went to prison or jail? Did a parent or adult in your home ever swear at you, insult you, or put you down?
Mm.
Did a parent or adult in your home ever hit, beat, kick, or physically hurt you in any way?
Do spankings count?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Did did you feel that no one in your family loved you or thought you were special? And the 10th one, did you experience unwanted sexual contact, such as fondling or oral, anal, vaginal intercourse or penetration? Those are the 10
Before you're 18 years old. Any
before
of those
you're
happen?
18. Mhm.
Wow. And so I have three.
So it states that if you have four more, three is, you're there, we're all impacted, right? If
Mm-hmm.
you have four or more, you're three times the level of having lung disease, 11 and a half times more likely to use intravenous drugs, 14 times more likely to have suicidal ideation, four times more likely to have intercourse before the age of 15, four and a half times more likely to develop depression, and two times more likely to have liver disease.
Wow.
That ends up being 67% of our population has at least one ACE. So I
Yeah.
want to,
As I'm going through, is there any way you can end up with zero?
some people have zero. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just like
One
some.
third, what is that? One third, one
Mhm.
30% of America has no ACE at this point, is the way
Wow.
that you can look at it. And I've done a whole lot of trainings, and in every group that I do this test,
Uh huh.
it comes out that 70% have ACEs.
Wow.
At least 70% have in almost any group you go into. So when you're talking about that, now we can start looking at each other human, right?
Yeah.
Before COVID,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I,
I'm sorry. Go on because we have comments coming at the same time. I want to make sure we include them. This is Gwen. Gwen is one of she is definitely a fan. Thank you for coming in, Gwen. She says, "Hi, Mary and Shore. I'm joining late. Welcome, Shore."
thank
So,
you. Thank
and
you.
Charles says, "I think I could use that in the attitudes in the workplace class. It facilitate. He wants to use those." And
Yes, yes, yes,
he said ACE quiz is available online from NPR. Thank you, Charles. Thank
yes,
you.
yes,
And then Kelly
yes.
says it must be difficult for children to understand that adults have bad coping skills which manifest as anger toward the child. How do you overcome a child's belief the situation is their fault? Wow, that's deep.
That by teaching them about adverse childhood experiences, and also even if you don't want to go that deep, which they are now, but even if you, like you're saying, in elementary years, by teaching them their value, they'll understand whose fault it is if you can help them understand their value. So that was me, right? So when I was in fifth grade, we were starving, and I asked my dad, right, why don't we have food? And he said, because we're vegetarians. I remember this vividly. I went to school. I'm standing there. I didn't get in a lunch line. And the teacher came to me and she said, "Why aren't you eating?" And I told her, "Because I'm a vegetarian." And she looked at me, and she put me in a lunch line, and they put me on a free lunch program, which I don't think they had at that time, but they gave me lunch every day after that. It was so impactful. I remember the lunch, right? I know what I ate that day. And I didn't have that much food because we were vegetarians. So when you think about the impact that it has to the youth, when I looked at how I broke down, I thought, what could I have done? What could have happened to support me, and what could I have done for myself at that young age, right? Because I didn't know. So what it would take is others, number one, starting with elementary, teaching about coping skills and problem solving to our youth, right? Starting to give them that understanding at an early age, but also equipping our educators with being able to support our youth, because our educators are harmed adults, because no one has dealt with these situations and they're coping most likely in negative ways. So teaching everyone in the environment how to cope properly helps build the esteem. My youth program, Get Plugged In, did exactly that. It took those youth and it tried to teach them where their power was, that they have the center. So it would be youth focused. We didn't care about the adult. We only had them sign a permission slip, and they weren't in the program at all. It
Mm-hmm.
was youth focused youth, peer on peer, and how they can interact and show their power. So it's teaching
Wow.
kids they have power. So right now it's teaching us that we have power so that
Right.
we can teach that to them, because we don't know we have power because we are that harmed adult.
Right.
So it's having to deal with that. And I'd like to just share some of the signs. Gosh, I wish I could share screen, but so here are some of the signs, and let's just say of trauma. So if you're a person that's watching and you have no childhood experiences, you have adult experiences, here are some of the issues that you find that you're going to be faced with. In cognition, there's going to be impaired readiness to learn. So think of students that are going through, parents that are fighting at night, things that are happening. They're not going to be ready that day to go through that learning process, right? So,
Right.
and also difficulty problem solving. As I told you, I've been having that as an adult, and had to learn ways of how do I change and move my schedule to be able to absorb those times that I'm not able. Language delays. There's a lot of times that I stutter or my tongue gets caught. Uh, Problems concentrating, poor academic achievement. That's all in cognition. Let's go to physical health. All of you watching, sleep disorders, eating disorders, poor immune system function, right? You don't know why you got that autoimmune problem, cardiovascular disease, and it leads to a shorter lifespan. And emotions, you guys out there, difficulty controlling emotions, trouble recognizing your emotions, limited coping skills, right? It doesn't take much to get you there, right? Increased sensitivity to stress, shame or guilt about your life, or excessive worry, hopelessness that we feel here, feelings of helplessness, right? How many of us are having real problems with our relationships, attachment issues, or
Mm.
disorders? Poor understanding of social instructions. You really don't, you're mimicking people, not really expressing your own feelings. Difficulty forming relationships with friends, romantic issues. You know, your romantic relationships are always failing. I'm in my fourth marriage. I mean, intergenerational cycles of abuse and neglect, mental health issues, all of them. The
Mm.
people that you know with poor self-regulation. Think about the people yelling at people in line, road rage, social withdrawal,
No.
aggression. Period. When we came out of COVID, everybody was aggressive.
Right.
Poor impulse control, risk taking, illegal activity, sexual acting out, drug and alcohol misuse. These are all signs that we've been traumatized. And when we don't realize, and we're just reacting to the way we feel,
Mhm.
or reacting because I didn't sleep well last night, I'm not really eating, I'm having problems right now concentrating. But then, what do? Most people get very angry and short with themselves, and I have to move on, right? Your boss is saying, girl, you better come into work, but you're completely overwhelmed. These are the things that we're seeing in our society, and these are the things that we at Community Now want to help with. And
Right.
we believe that that is done through emotional intelligence, really, to say it. Right here, I'd like to just bring in ethnic studies is here, right?
Right.
Yay to ethnic studies, it's
Hmm.
coming. If you read what the curriculum is and you read what they want out of ethnic studies, it
Hmm.
is they are going to try to increase the emotional intelligence of not only all educators, but the youth they serve, right?
Right.
If you think of emotional intelligence, that's empathy, self awareness, self motivation, relationship building, and social skills. So those five things are your emotional intelligence. And if you lack in any of those areas, again, we come into road rage. We come into, in Riverside, the teacher who thought culturally that she was being okay by doing an algebra class with an Indian headdress
Hmm.
and hopping around hooing.
Hmm.
Um, these types of things now have to be dealt with. So in Community Now's world, this is what we have been moving towards. We
Right.
teach cultural classes right now, a basic understanding of history
Hmm.
from pre slavery to today.
Right.
This is something that's part of ethnic studies that they now have to talk about in
Right.
schools. The
Can some short
impact of
someone?
racism.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but can someone? They would not be able to take your classes if they're not involved with that school district. Is that correct? They're not. It's not like we can go online and take and get that information, or can you?
No, there you can see the information on there, but right now we work with school districts
Okay.
at this time. We are looking at and have been able to do. Hey, Estella. Good to see you.
Hi,
We
Estella.
can, if you know there were a group that were interested, I'd be more than happy to go through. There are three major trainings that I do. One
Okay.
is for ACEs and trauma and how you cope, self care,
Mm-hmm.
how to find yourself, look into your life, and where do you need improvement.
Right.
Before COVID, we thought we were robots or God, right? Because before COVID, everything was perfect. I'm perfect. My job's perfect. My wife's perfect. My dog, my kid gets A's, right? Nobody said anything bad, right? No, no, everything here is good. We all lied. But now, after COVID, we can be real and show our vulnerability and say, well, maybe everything isn't perfect.
And you know what it's I just because we talk about before and after COVID, but it has been in so many ways a good thing for our society. I know unfortunately the loss has been devastating, but as far as opening up the just even a conversation about mental health, it was nowhere near this before COVID.
Tell me.
It was like, and then now it has become the topic of conversation. So it
Yes.
really it needed that door needed to open, and that's what COVID did. It opened that door. I think. I mean, it was
Yes,
always
yes.
there. Yeah. Hmm.
Yes, yes.
So
We
it's
were,
made a
yeah.
tremendous difference, I think, in our society. I no longer hear of therapy as being anything but good. I mean, and but like you said, which is definitely the truth too, finding that it may take a couple of therapists to find that fit for you. But I think that's like anything in life. Everybody, it may you may not be that first person, maybe or the second person, but you're gonna find that chemistry is what you're looking for that works for you.
Mhm,
And I think
mhm,
someone that's not always looking to just give you, it's like we're just gonna prescribe something all the time. It's not always
mhm.
that you need more than that. That's what I would say.
And that's where prevention comes in our theory. For the last 9 years, we have been trying to talk about prevention. Now, a therapist is intervention. So coaching is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Getting a life coach, doing
Right.
professional coaching, and I don't advocate therapy unless you are diagnosed. If you've gone into where you need intervention, then you need to be an intervention. But not everybody needs a therapist. What we need are coaches. We need people to help us problem solve because your mental wellness breaks down when you do not problem solve. Your stress
Mm-hmm.
increases when your problems increase, right? So, a tool that I give my people is think of a scale. At
Mm-hmm.
the bottom is 0, and at the top is 10. So there's a line, and in the middle is 5.
Right.
Every day and throughout the day, we should measure ourselves. Feel yourself. How do you feel right now, Mary, on that scale? How do you feel?
Um, I say fine. I said that doesn't mean I don't have problems or anything else.
No,
Like,
you didn't give me a number.
oh,
At the
oh,
bottom is 0, at the
oh. Mhm.
top is 10, and the middle is 5. 5 is where, we're
About
starting to, you
I
need,
might say
you're looking for resources.
a 7. I say about a 7.
Okay, so I'm going to switch it on you and say at the bottom is good and at the top is bad.
Oh,
So at the bottom, I'm sorry, I'm giving this all in piece order. Here we go. At the bottom is 0, that's good. At the top is 10, that's
oh,
bad.
okay.
So at the bottom,
So
0, nobody has a stress level of 0,
0.
right? If you
No.
do, you
Um,
should contact someone, and I'm not being funny. If you feel that you are a 0 or that you go to a 10, you should contact someone because no one should do that. You need,
yeah.
some extra support. But if you see that you're at a 1, 2, 1, 2 is about normal. Two,
Mm,
because we've got stressors in our lives, we've got things that are going on, but we
right.
feel well, we're coping with it. When you start going to a 5, you need to start intervening with yourself, start looking for self-care. What is it that needs to be done? Because why did you hit that 5? Because you should be a
Mm,
2 or a 3. So when you start hitting that 5, you start looking for resources. Do I need a bath? Baths only work if you solve the problem. So the first thing that we say is go to the problem. What's in your head? What is
mm,
going on? So do some self-assessment. I have some of those things on my website and different tools that I train on how do I see, is it in my spiritual world that I need help? Is it in my professional world? Is it my social world that I need to work on? Where in my life Do I need support? And then you work on those areas and we create our wellness. So post
Mm.
COVID, what we say is, I have the power, not the therapist.
Right.
I can maintain my own wellness by scaling myself. If I see myself at a 6, oh my goodness, I know now maybe I need to call somebody because I might need a therapist now, right?
Mhm.
What is it? Because now it's a problem I'm not able to solve. Call 211 for Riverside. 211 is a number that helps you with problem solving,
Right.
helping you find skills and resources. If you
Mhm.
go beyond a 6, a 5, 6 to a 7, 8, you want to start calling crisis centers now, right? Because now you're really, you've got more than one problem. You've got multiple problems. You're sinking and
Mm.
you're not able to pull yourself out. Now you need some more strength behind the,
Right. Right.
the support that you're going to get. So we need to understand ourselves and our wellness, and that's the emotional intelligence, self-awareness, right? How, who,
Mhm.
when do I get triggered? And then why? Start thinking about yourself, because do you really want to be the one in line doing the yelling? And these are things that are reacting
Mm-mm.
because of things in our lives. So breathe, think about yourself, and then look at that other person and wonder, maybe they're an 8 in their ACE test. Because we know we're all going through things. You
Yes.
can't look at the person across from you and think nothing is happening in their life.
Right.
Maybe they're going off because they're overwhelmed, and maybe you should give them grace, right? Maybe you
And
should give
I
yourself
was I
grace.
was looking at it as the other way around. So I was looking at it as that it's everything not. I mean, it's not definitely not perfect, but the one thing I think, and they tell you too, is exercise. That helps tremendously
Oof.
reducing anxiety, yoga, uh, meditation, reading affirmations. There's so many things, but
Yes,
I
yes.
don't know that I do some of them. I don't do all of them, but I know some of them. It's like every day I try and do to keep me centered and keep me from not being that person that's yelling and
Right,
screaming. I know
right.
Oliver said, oh, he says, hold on, Oliver, Oliver's our exec. He says, hello, Shor, welcome to the show. Very informative.
Thank you.
He's the executive producer of the show too. So
Cool,
he
cool.
keeps me going. Hello, Oliver. But I think
Cool.
it's really, it is and correct me if I'm wrong, it's a day by day. It's not you get it today and it's good for the next 10 years. It's
Right.
every day we're doing assumptions, or doing these narratives where you're checking in with yourself daily because
Moment by moment, not daily. Yeah, I try to get people to do, you should center yourself maybe every 2 hours.
okay,
Or because your mood and everything changes with the
it does.
wind. It could be with a phone call,
I
with
was
with
just gonna
something
say
you
that.
see.
Or you watch something on TV and it affects you. I can't watch scary things because my heart races when things are
Right.
scary. And even though I know it's in the TV and it can't come out, that's irrelevant to my brain. I literally, my body, it literally is my, I feel my heart racing. I don't have to even, I know it
Right.
does. So I've had to learn, then don't watch those things. It's like
Right.
I
Right.
have to protect myself. So I have these boundaries of, and I think what you're saying is we all have boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
If we're wanting to stay at a level that works for us, you have to create. If you don't already have them, you have to create the boundaries
Mhm.
so that you
I
don't.
listen to audiobooks, right? If you're
Okay.
going through your day and you're able to, I work from home. So sometimes I'll put an audiobook on and work, but I think I have ADD or something, because sometimes I have to hear noise to concentrate, and we all have to find out what is it about ourselves,
That's right.
and work with those quirks, not against them, work with them to work
Right.
for you, make
Right.
you work for you.
Mhm.
Right? So build your lifestyle around you. Don't build
Right.
you around your lifestyle, because
Right.
that's going to lead you into mental unwellness. And our goal is to stay mentally well.
Right.
So always monthly do a whole life check, to make
Mhm.
sure that everything is in balance. Breathing is something that you were saying. Breathe all the time. I train breathe when you wake up, breathe when you're before you pick up the phone, breathe before you do a meeting, breathe after the meeting. If you're meeting with different people, breathe in between the meetings,
Wow.
center yourself, get yourself back so that you can be in the moment of now. It's very hard nowadays because there's so many things fighting for our
Mhm.
attention. Even at
Mhm.
my desk, I could get involved with, so many things that are right here at my fingertips. So,
Yeah.
when you're in those meetings, it's trying to, how do I remain mindful? Um, I've noticed that it's not that I forget a lot, it's I'm
Mhm.
not there. I'm there, but I'm not there. I'm not in the moment. My
Right.
mind or whatever, I'm focusing on something else while this is happening.
Right.
So, I've missed it. So,
I
if you guys are
understand.
experiencing any of those things, don't get afraid. I used to have so much fear that I had Alzheimer's or I was going, I was going to getting dementia and these different things. And that stress on top harms only you. So again, I go back to grace for yourself.
Right.
Start to understand where your triggers are, where your limits are, and act like you have diabetes. When you have diabetes, you switch your life to fit a diabetic lifestyle, right?
Mhm.
You change your
Mhm.
diet, you add exercise, this, that. Think of that with your mental wellness. What do you need to do in your lifestyle to be mentally well? If that's releasing some people, release them. It's worth it. If that's
Mhm.
changing jobs, change. It's worth it because
Right.
your peace and wellness um, is everything. It's
Right.
your everything.
We have a comment here from Charles too. And he says, "Great show, great material. I wish I had heard some of this before I facilitated my last stress management class."
Well,
All
Charles,
right.
have me come teach it.
I
I'll do that
tell
for you.
you. And then he said, let's see, Charles, you also said too, fantastic website. That's what he said.
Oh,
All right. And we're going to put that up
thank you.
again, ladies and gentlemen, because you can contact Shore or go to the website. Here it is. It's communitynow.info because, and I tell you, Shore is a wealth of knowledge. And I mean, as we were talking earlier, I said, sure, and I'm a member of a few community, a community, um, I say groups, but I think you definitely outpace me, short with the number, the different, with the different community groups and your activities and interests, and you're dedicated. You're
I
dedicated.
need to learn how to say no. I got to learn that word. I'm still working on that one.
Well, I'll tell you, and it took me a while to get there. But right now, I had to come to terms because this is what I had to treat it like. Now I do. I didn't before, but I treat it like a plate. And I look at that plate and I said, "There's only so much you can get on this plate. You can't put everything on here. So you have to
Right.
decide what's going to go on here and what isn't." And I'm at the point now I had to start saying no to survive it, to have time for my family and time for my community and time for me. Really, it's not easy to make that balance and
No, it's not.
to work out and all those things. I'll speak for me, and I like to walk. That's my thing is walking because I come up with ideas when I'm walking. Walking to me it's been therapy. I think for me,
Hmm.
it's my time.
Hmm.
Uh, but then I come home and next thing you know, I've come up with another idea. I noticed that for
Yeah, something
another
else you need to do.
yeah, so
Yeah.
or something I can write. And
Yep,
yeah,
yep, yep.
and Kelly says this is amazing information. Sure, do you conduct trainings for private companies?
Most definitely we do. Yes. Yes, I
That
do.
would be yes, Kelly. I wonder what
Yeah,
Kelly's
yeah.
talking about.
That would be wonderful. Dang
Yes.
it. What were you just saying? Because I had a
About walking, and we have another comment. This is
oh yeah.
for Gwen. She
Dang it.
said, "Good info. I like grace for yourself. I find that I can self-correct, staying in my spiritual Christ-centered awareness. And Mary, walking is great. I
Yes,
like
yes.
it. I
Yeah,
don't. I don't have
Rhoda.
any animals. I don't have walk a dog or anything. I just walk me. There's a hill not about 2 blocks from us that goes down into a golf course, and I come up and down that hill. I put a mark on the ground every time I come up. and because it's kind of steep.
Okay.
But that is when I come home, I take a shower. I feel like a new person because that's my
Mm-hmm.
workout. I get up and down. And one lady
Yeah.
lives near the corner. She'll say, "So how many times you gonna go up and down the day?" But I noticed she said she can't believe I even do that hill. She said that hill that's a lot. I said, but I need 30, what, 40 minutes. 40 minutes is a good workout.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I
Mm-hmm.
do that, come home and lift weights for a little while. It's a good hour, a very good.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like a new person. That's what I like.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do. I'm in my best when I work out 3 days a week. I'm a VR person. I like games. So I have a PS4 and a virtual headset. So I
Oh.
work out virtually. So I do a lot
Mhm.
of cardiovascular. So I have to burn.
Mm.
I try to burn myself to exhaustion, truthfully, when I work out, because if I fill up so quick, I feel like I fill up so quickly, I have to burn it off so I can fill up and burn it off. So yeah,
Okay.
I really believe in strenuous exercise. It's like you're walking that strenuous hill. Because then it frees my mind, and then like you're
Yes.
saying, I think of maybe a little tad bit of something that was said that I missed somewhere, that it's like, or like you said,
Yeah.
I come up with new projects or new,
Uh-huh.
um, you
Oh,
know,
I don't know
get
about
a
that.
lot of clarity.
I have to slow down on my projects and start focusing because I realize I notice I'll be working on something and then something else will come and I'll jump to something else. I literally have to force myself not to do that. And I'll
Yeah,
make a note of it, but I want to stay focused on this until I complete. It took me a long time to do that because I would just jump around. I used to say it was that creativity in me. I don't know what it is. I honestly don't
it
have a
is.
word for it.
It is that creativity. It's just you have to learn how to focus it. But yeah, I'm
Absolutely.
sure it is that creativity. Yeah. My daughter is, she's one of those people that has so many different talents, and what I learned from her is that just because you don't have the talent doesn't mean you're interested in the talent, and there's just so many things that a person can do. So
Hmm.
it's interesting what you choose,
Right.
what you end up choosing as what you want to do with your talents.
That's true. And Kelly says, sure, I do VR workouts too.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
do.
Okay. I'm gonna try. I have an Oculus Supernatural. I'm gonna write that down,
All right.
and I'm gonna try. I'm gonna
Supernatural.
find your name, Kelly.
Oh my God. You
I
guys have
use
been working out together?
Yeah, we could work out together.
Oh
I
my goodness.
I use I can't think of the name. Oh my gosh.
I'm writing
I
it down.
do more on my PS4, but I'm gonna get on the Oculus with you. That'll be fun.
Now, I
That'll
don't
be
even know what you guys talking about. But you know what? I don't. But that's okay. You know what I like about that? I'm learning something new.
There you
That's
are. There you
okay.
are.
I know I see them on TV. I've seen the commercials on them, but I have,
Yeah.
but you never know.
It's a
And
great workout. If you're like into Zumba or dance workouts, things like
uh-huh,
that, that's what I'm into. But on there, you can do boxing, you can do, they got like a Wii, you can do anything, any kind
right.
of activity.
Wow. Well, you guys are you're gonna bring me into that world. That's what you're doing.
Okay.
That's all. And I'm definitely willing to listen, learn everything. It's just so
Yeah.
much, and I see it. Like I see, I've seen the workouts on TV, but I just haven't got there yet. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you, we are getting near the end, and I'll be honest with you, sure. What would you like to leave our audience with today?
I would like to leave you guys with a call to action to look at your mental and emotional wellness. Go online and take an emotional intelligence test. They're real quick, they're free. There's a do the free one. It's quick. And then work on those areas, because we all need work in emotional intelligence, and it's so important. If you know organizations, try to get professional development at your organization to work on that, because it increases um, interpersonal interactions and things like that. So use your self-care and focus on you, right? And let's change this world. My goal in this year is to get everyone to understand common coping strategies that we can use every day just to maintain our wellness so that we're not overstretched. So I believe that, thank you, Mary, for this forum so that I could help some of you to see how you can maintain wellness without becoming overwhelmed. If you feel overwhelmed, calm down and do analysis on why, and then problem solve. If I have anything to give you, it's to focus on that with and tell others to focus on it. With the ethnic studies thing, culture is so important, you guys, and most of us are getting more prejudiced, not unprejudiced. So do a DNA test. Find out what you're really made up of, and then explore those cultures so that we can have a better understanding of ourselves and the people that we are interacting with. And lastly, I would say, because all of this is for this social climate that we're in today,
Right. Right.
be kind. Be kind to yourself and be kind to others. Pay it forward. Buy somebody something at Starbucks, pay for their Starbucks, and leave a pay forward. Open the door for someone.
Hmm.
What about let somebody in front of you on the freeway? Do something for
Yeah.
someone else and feel that kindness and the oxytocin that's going to increase in your body and in the body of
Mhm.
the person that you do the kind act for. And let's focus on how we can live together and our everything that we have in common rather than all of our differences and why we want to be alone.
I'm listening to you. I'm thinking of like when cars are trying to get in, like you're in there and people don't let them in. And so, and I always let one car in, but then sometimes the car behind tries like, well, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go guard and all. And I sometimes I look at that and I said, just let them in, man. They're so afraid that another car will not let them in. It's what they're really saying without. It
Yes.
really
Yes.
tells you too, the like you said, the road rage is real. This is real. This is people are being killed because of anger, that pent up anger, and that not like you said about being kind. But when people are, someone did that for me at it was not it was an In and Out, and they paid for my order.
Yeah.
Now, so they didn't know all I ordered was French fries, but they
Right.
just said, "I'm going to pay for the lady, whoever's behind me. I'm paying for their order."
Hmm.
And I thought about that. I said, "Isn't that was?" And when I got into the window, they said, "Your order's been paid for." And I said, "I wish I could tell them thank you." I couldn't because they're in front of you, that kind of thing. But what it really was is they're saying that for me to do the same thing. So I did the same thing for the car behind me.
Yeah.
And
It's
I
paying
said,
into the universe. That's
it was,
right.
and it makes you smile. And I always say this,
Hmm.
give, just smile at people. We'd be amazed. Just that one thing, smiling at people. How many times people won't even make eye contact?
Hmm.
They don't want to. I don't know what that's about. Or you speak and people don't they a lot of people never speak. I noticed that. But I still smile at them. I still speak at them because I don't know what's going on in their lives.
Right.
They, like you said, traumatized. They could be going through some, who knows what. But we have it said Gwendolyn says my sons laugh at my VR workouts, but it's a trade-off for me.
Isn't it? Rah! Man, I mean, you can tear it up. And you come out of it and you're drenched and you're like, yes, I did that. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow. Well, I got to get into these VR workouts. I see them. And this listen, oh, thank you, Gwen. I tell you, well,
Thank you.
every time I've been around Short, kindness is something. She preaches this. She literally preaches kindness. That this is one thing everybody can do. You don't have to buy. It doesn't cost anything. You don't have to pay anybody anything. Just
No.
be kind to people. I don't know why people find that hard to do. But David said, "Hi, David. Enjoyed the show. Thank you." David lives in Canada, but I think he's visiting now. I think
Awesome.
you were. I can't remember where you
Welcome.
are, David, but he's visiting right now. He's a retired teacher. But I like to thank
Awesome.
all of you, and sure, I definitely like to thank you for being here today.
Thank you for asking. It's a great show, and I appreciate you giving me the time.
Oh, you're welcome because I think all of us, you definitely made me stop as the show ends to do a self evaluation of myself, of where I am. And I definitely have to talk to you guys about getting into the supernatural Oculus thing
Yes. I'm probably gonna hook it up tonight and try to play that Supernatural. I'm gonna find that game.
That's the next big thing I think I'm gonna get into because it sounds like you guys are really getting a good workout with this.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's fun.
all right.
Yeah,
Well, thank you again. We do appreciate and keep doing all the wonderful things you're doing in the community, Short. You're really an
thank
asset,
you.
and just know that we're glad to have you in the community, and just keep on doing Short. Keep on doing Short.
Thank
So,
you.
thank you for being here today.
All right. Thank you so much.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, that is our show for today. I tell you, I'm just sitting here just thinking of things and my mind is going and everybody's talking about this exercise. I'm thinking I'm doing a big thing by walking. They're doing a big, it sounds like their workout's a lot better than mine. I can tell you that. But I want to thank you all for coming here. Oh, here, I see another comment put up. Hi, Kelly. Love this show. Very positive. Oh, thank you, Kelly. Thank you. And it's always good to see you, Kelly. And so I want to thank all of you for being here because you took time out of your day and we just want to make this a show that you will enjoy. So thank each and every one of you. I will see you next Monday and we're going to come back. We're actually going to do a show. I'm going to try to do one about Juneteenth and the history of Juneteenth. We were in a meeting and honestly, I did not get it right, but that's okay. There were ladies there that knew the exact history. So we're going to bring that to you too. So we want to spread the correct history of what Juneteenth is really all about. So God bless each and every one of you, and I will see you next Monday. Bye, everybody.